If there is one particular event in Wuthering Waves that a lot of players have mixed feelings about, it's gotta be Pincer Maneuver Warriors because the rewards in this event are pretty good, especially the forgery supply and the premium enclosure tanks, which makes building your characters much more easier. However, much like the Tower of Adversity, this event is not that friendly to free-to-play because you need specific characters to be able to beat it, which doesn't really make much sense to me because the only thing players like myself care about when participating in event is the rewards we get out of it, and this event is officially not considered as an endgame mode, so making this favorable for players who have specific characters is not a good idea in my opinion. But in case you're having a hard time with this event, you're in the right place because I'm going to show you exactly how to beat it. If you're new here on the channel, welcome to another event breakdown where I test current events and give you tips on how you can easily clear them. If this video proves helpful or enjoyable in any way, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and turn on the bell icon because it helps me out tremendously. Before we start with how to beat it, let's talk about some of the problems that this event still has, and the most obvious one is that we don't have access to trial characters. Boosting your underleveled characters and their weapons to level 80 only helps players that have specific characters required to beat this event. Giving us access to trial characters would definitely make this event 10 times better than how it is right now. The second problem that needs to be addressed is the difficulty in sharing echoes and weapons in this event. So whatever you put on any character in Team 1 cannot be given to another character in Team 2. This can be a huge problem for players who have not been playing the game for very long, and if you're free to play, it makes matters even worse. What I suggest Kuro should do to fix this is that before you enter the portal after clearing out the waves with Team 1 for example, there should be an option that allows you to switch builds like how it's done in the Tower of Adversity. While the Team 1 and Team 2 buffs that we got in the second cycle of this patch are great, all your characters start with 100 concerto energy but 0 resonance energy, so you need to spend time regenerating energy for your main DPS where you could have been using that time to do damage instead. In my opinion, it's better to have a fully charged resonance energy instead of a full concerto energy at the beginning of the fight, because you can just go full Unga Bunga after getting just the attack buff from Rejuvenating Glow in the first rotation, and by the time your DPS character is done doing damage, the concerto energy of your sub DPS will be almost full due to the new concerto energy regeneration buffs that we now have, which works pretty well with Team 2. This can help you clear out the enemy waves much faster so that you can easily get all the rewards. Now let's cover how to beat this event by taking one stage at a time, starting with the common class stage. Basically, the way this event works is that you have 2 halves in one stage. Clearing all the waves on time will give you monster points, as you can see right here. If you clear them before the time reaches 2 minutes, you get additional points known as time points, as you can see right here. You need 4,000 points to gain all the rewards in common class up to the Calamity class stages. The common class is the easiest of them all because the wave of enemies have a small amount of HP compared to the other stages. The common class is just meant to introduce you to the main mechanic of each Pincer Maneuver event. The one that we got in this cycle is called Shadow Wave, which basically deals havoc damage in a decent area of effect when you use any character's resonance skill with a cooldown of 3 seconds, and each character has their own specific cooldown. But what the game does not tell you is that the damage of Shadow Wave actually scales off the stats of the character that activated it. For example, if I use Verena, the damage is about 6.5k, if I use Zhang Liao, the damage is about 30k, and if I use Camellia, the damage is around 53k. What this means is that the damage scales off stats like attack, damage amplification buffs from healers, crit rate, crit damage, and havoc damage bonus. So basically what this means is that your havoc DPS will be able to deal more damage with Shadow Wave. For the team options, what you need to keep in mind is that you need characters that can do damage in a large area of effect like Camellia's Blossom Mode Spin, Zhang Liao's Huge Forte and Liberation area of effect, and Jiyan's absurd levels of crowd control. But having Rocha also helps because you can easily group them with her skill, since we are dealing with mob type enemies. For those who will be using Camellia in the first team, using Danjin as your sub DPS works incredibly well because she can take full advantage of the Team 1 buff that restores 4 concerto energy per second since she has the Havoc attribute. so you can instantly outro right after switching to Donjin. Using Havoc Rover with Donjin also works well in the common class stage, but it will be very difficult for you in the other stages due to Havoc Rover's small AoE of attacks. For the Team 2 buff, you can go with Zhangli Yao or Jian. The general buff that you should use for every stage is the Dream Cosmos suit that activates another shadow wave to attack enemies when you perform an intro skill. This works pretty well with both Team 1 and Team 2 because you can fill your concerto energy much faster for more intro skill casts. Now let's move on to stage 2, which is the elite class. In this stage, your resonance skill cooldown is reduced by 30%, which is very good because you will get to use your resonance skills more often to activate the shadow wave attack. The Team 1 and Team 2 buff does not change, and the general buff you should select will remain the Dream Cosmos suit. Keep in mind that at this stage, the enemies have much larger HP compared to stage 1, so your team options should revolve around those that can do damage in a large area of effect and those that can do damage and still make good use of the buff that is provided to Team 1. The ones that fit that description is Jian and Havoc Rover. Jian has the capability of doing damage in a large area of effect, and Havoc Rover can do pretty decent damage, but she lacks large area of effect capabilities, so she can act as a battery for Jian to make him get his liberation back up quickly with her intro skill due to the Team 1 buff that regenerates concerto energy for Havoc Rover. If you don't have Jian or Camellia, simply pair Havoc Rover with any DPS character that you have on your account, as long as you have enough investment in that particular DPS character. The way that the rotation works is to simply get Verena's outro buff and start doing damage with Havoc Rover and Jian such that their damage window can fit within Verena's buff duration. Here's a quick showcase of what I mean. For Team 2, Zhangli Yao will be your best pick because of his large area of effects capability, and the reduced skill cooldown works so well on him because you can use your divergence skill and revamp after every forte skill, which was pretty fun to do. For his sub DPS options, if you don't have Yinlin, Zhang Xin will work just fine because your concerto energy problems can easily be fixed with the Team 2 buff that recovers concerto energy for everyone in the team. For the Overlord stage, the only difference is that you lose the 30% resonance skill cooldown reduction, but you get 40% more damage after an intro skill. I tried using Donjin as the main DPS, and she's the best candidate to proc the shadow wave damage because she can spam her resonance skill more than any other character in the game, but the issue I encountered was that some special enemies deal damage to you over time when you get close to them, so using Donjin here or in any of the other stages will be quite difficult. So what I recommend is to use the same team selection from the previous stages that I mentioned. The Calamity stage is pretty much the same as the Elite stage, so focus on using the same team options that I provided. The Endless Arena is where things get a little bit tough because you need 6,000 points to be able to get all the rewards. The buffs provided are a combination of the Overlord and Calamity stages. The team option stays the same, but you need to keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to get 3,000 points in the first half to get 6,000 points in total after completing it. From my experience, no matter how strong your characters are in the common class to Calamity stages, you usually get around 2,000 points for each half because you are limited to 5 waves of mob enemies. But with Endless Arena, the number of waves that spawns are pretty much infinite, and you're only limited by the 2 minutes timer, so your focus is to get at least 2,000 points in the first half if you don't have a good team in Team 1, and then get the rest of the points in the other half with your best team. I wish I could recommend easily accessible teams, but I'm afraid this event is meant to influence you to pull for certain characters, which I'm okay with if it's officially announced to be an endgame content, but at the moment, if you want to get the best clear time with the required points to gain all the rewards, units like Jiyan and Zhang Liao are a must-have just to easily clear this event in every patch cycle, no matter the buffs that are provided. I hope this helps, and be sure to like the video, subscribe, and join the Discord community. Link will be in the channel description. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.